Hey everybody, this is Joey at Boomtown. Can you just chat in if you can hear me? We're just having a little trouble with the audio.
Yeah, I can hear you, Joey. Can you hear me?
Yep, okay, great.
Cool.
Hey everybody, we're gonna get started here. Just give me one moment and we'll get going. I think we're just letting a few more people jump in. Um,
Nice.
you should see my screen. It should say Point Sales Webinar. And then let us know if you have any questions. You can chat in or you can send us a note. All right, so basically these webinars are for new products, new features, updates on Point. If your team needs a sales training or operations training, feel free to reach out to pointsales@goboomtown.com, and then we'll set that up. Again, we want to make sure that you guys have everything you need. Also, send us feedback if you feel like the program is not working for you, things aren't working. We work very closely with the Point team, so definitely want to make sure that we have everything that you need to get going. Quick agenda today. We have two great speakers and two applications that can help you sell to more sophisticated, better merchants, larger merchants. So I want to give them a lot of time to go over their product in detail. We're going to talk with Rocket Tabs, which is the pre-authorization and bar tabs app, and then Talic POS, which is the full-edge POS system for all different types of verticals. But it's kind of an all-in-one POS that can help you sell to high-end restaurants or different things like that. One second. Okay. Feel free to ask questions also during the webinar. You can chat in and you can ask questions and we'll be able to help out. Also, we have a sales hub with all of our third-party apps, our webinars. We have marketing and sales material in there, so feel free to go there and explore on your own or ask us questions if you need anything. Our knowledge base is built for you to also kind of search for products, features. Maybe if you want to see, like, do we have a gift cards option? Is there a pre-authorization option? We built you guys a knowledge base, so feel free to bookmark both these tabs. We'll send out the recording and the deck to everybody who basically subscribe to this webinar. Make sure that you guys have that by end of week or early next week. No big updates that I want to go over besides the two new applications. I do want to talk about Cash Discount sent a note this morning just saying that they have a new verification. Basically options that are in compliance that's supporting the new visa rules and federal legislation. So feel free to reach out to Damon at cashdiscount.com if you guys are still obviously, that's a huge selling point for you. Obviously they have great options and they've done really well with our channel. Now we're gonna go over to Rocket Tabs. I have a Tiff on the phone with me. So Tiff, do you mind, feel free to take it away. I'm gonna pass you the presenter role as well, okay?
All right, awesome.
All right,
guys?
You should be good. You have the screen, you have the floor, so go right ahead.
All right, awesome. So we are Rocket Tabs, and I'm going to do a quick intro to where we got started. Our focus was, we looked at basically with a clean sheet of paper, this entire industry that started with the Poynt hardware terminal, and really studied like what were the needs for our customers, right? And we realized that there's basically two major customers here. The first is the merchant that you guys deal with day in and day out. You're like banging on doors, sending out email blasts, like doing everything you possibly can to sort of get your foot in the door and get in front of these guys, right? And when you finally do all that, you've got to make your case and sell the idea that, you've got this amazing platform. These devices are gorgeous. They can help you with all these things. You've got maybe a really great transaction rate or something you can offer them. And now it just comes down to using it and like a demo of something that works well, right? So really, like, our second customer in this, after writing great software for this end user, are you guys. We wanted to make something that just helps you close sales, right? And these are the focuses that we have right now for where we think we best fit, which are restaurant, bars, grills, food trucks, cafes, hotel pools, golf resorts, small business. These are all, like, we've done some variation of working with those businesses and testing and developing our app. So what do I mean by you guys are our customers too, right? Like, our main customers. So you have probably, like, when you got your Poynt terminal, you were like, this is the coolest thing. It's, it looks gorgeous. Like, let me like mess around with it, right? And the native apps were kind of like, they did their job, but they, were a bit to like get through and stuff. But still, you guys understood, like, from Poynt HQ, how to set up the catalogs, how to add products, taxes, discounts, all this stuff, right? So we are the only app in the Poynt store that's basically built 100% on Poynt Cloud, which means that there's no additional login, identification stuff, credentials. Everything resides fully in Poynt. And what we do is make it so that if you go to a client and you already have loaded in their catalog for making a really awesome demo, or maybe you're just using your generic demo that you have, catalog that you have on your demo device, the second you open up you open up Rocket Tabs, it is going to just work out of the box. So you do not have to waste any time with extra setup. You don't have to, everything is manageable, and all those apps that come with Poynt, like their mobile app and, all their stuff for HQ and stuff, it just works with our app straight out of there, right? So just think about that in terms of like how advantageous that is for saving time. Like we're not yet another middleman you have to go through to like hand off to a sales funnel where we're going to do stuff for you. We kind of trust you guys can do that for 90% of these small business accounts that you can just walk into with your sales team and just close on. So let's take a look at the goals of what we were trying to build here, right? If you think about any restaurant and bar, like tabs always conjure up bar tabs, right? But really, like if you look at this from the perspective of tables, like you can custom name our tabs anything you want. So it could be table 1, table 2, table 3. When we go through our demo shortly, I'll like basically walk you through just how easily customizable that stuff is. But in a glance, you can see how many minutes the customer's been in the establishment, since they started. You can see how they're paying. Do they have basically a cash? Cash means this cash symbol that you see on the right just means that they're ordering food or items and stuff from you guys. And there's no authorization done. The second you do an authorization, it'll just switch over to showing the last 4 digits and the type of credit card that was used to make that authorization. So at a glance, a business gets to literally see all the essential stuff, like these names underneath those names like Jenny and Austin that you see here are like servers. So you can see who did what with what device. It works with multiple Poynt terminals, so they all sync together, and you can get a view of everything happening in your establishment all on your Poynt device. Also, we made sure that the UI for this automatically scales. Like what you're seeing right now is on a Poynt 5, but it scales for the Poynt 6, and it just works on any device that Poynt has now or in the future. Again, this is the only other screen in the app, right? So if you could follow that first one where it just shows like the list of the tabs and orders that are basically an establishment has, this is it. This is pretty much the few buttons that you have here are all you really need for using our app. And I'm going to go through that again in the demo to just show you how fast and quick we can work with this stuff. But it was essential for us to make something where you can sit with a customer for probably 5-10 minutes and they'll be comfortable enough to say, yeah, I can do this. Like, I get this. It's all very intuitive. And even if they just like poke around on their own, they can pretty much figure out like, okay, I get this print icon is like, I can print receipts with it, right? Anytime I want. I can, authorize a credit card with this button or look up items in the catalog with this button, right? So everything's like super slick and awesome. We're going to show you some of that stuff. And some of the other advantages that come with our app is, because it's all built 100% on Poynt, you're not dealing with like third-party servers and stuff where our stuff can go down and crash, right? And now this business is like, dude, my catalog's not showing up. What's going on? It's sort of like in Poynt we trust. As long as Poynt is running, your customers are not going to lose their data. They're not going to lose their information. They're not going to. You can sell them on the idea of data security in the sense that there's no way that there's a third-party app that's sort of siphoning off their information or doing anything with it. There are a lot of great little points with that. And like I mentioned, like syncing across all your Poynt devices, like you saw on multiple P5s to do table to table or whatever it is, it'll all just work, right? And so we're going to go through this demo right now. And essentially, I'm going to go through the stuff on the left that you see over here, creating a tab, naming a tab, authorizing a tab, catalog versus custom items, paying a tab, and printing. So this is basically, this is a workflow that every business goes through, right? And you also keep in mind, this is a very, very flexible application. When people call in to do orders, sometimes they want to just name something like for a phone order quickly. They can do that with this, right? They can say phone order for Sam, right? and that's what the tab's going to be named. And when they come in to pick it up, they can like find that and just, you know, pay for it. Or if it's already been paid with manual entry, it's like already been paid. They can track that it's been paid and they can just give that to a customer. In retail examples, you can hold items basically in a tab and say, yeah, this customer is going to come back and pick this stuff up. So there's some like reference to this order that they can always come back to and be like, oh yeah, I see it here. You know, you have these 5 items on hold. I can give this to you and I can sell it to you now, you know? So I want you to always like think in a very flexible manner with this. Essentially, it's a beautiful front end to all this valuable stuff that pretty much comes out of Poynt out of the box, but just wasn't as easily accessible. Let's get started with the demo. I'm gonna like exit out of here real quick. And hopefully we can, and if you guys want to also, you can load up our website here, rockettabs.io. It is not .com, so you want to just look for this, .io. And there's a reseller kit at the bottom, a link to tons of cool, you know, like graphics, you know, all these slides pretty much, anything you could use to sort of help yourself do sales and like create your own materials if you need to. Let's see if we can get this guy up and going. Okay, let's try this again. Joey, can you still hear me?
Yes, I'm on mute, but yes, I can,
okay, yeah.
I can still hear you. And screen looks good. If you can make that, obviously, the Poynt display a little bit bigger once it connects.
Yeah, I'm trying to, let me see if I can just get this guy to load correctly.
So what we're doing for the group that's on here right now, we're basically trying to do a reflection of the actual Poynt terminal. So he's connecting that to his computer so we can show you what the bar tab authorization looks like on the actual device.
Yeah, that's right. So let's try this again. Here we go. So like I said, imagine here you've loaded in the Poynt terminal, like the one you just got out of a box, right? You put in a catalog, you set up all, you configured all the business information, their description, their name, and all you do is install our app. You don't have to come to us for anything. You don't have to do any extra work. Just download Rocket Tabs into their terminal and you just tap on this button right here, right? And bam, it's like working. Like this is basically how simple the app is. There's one giant green button at the bottom. That's all you need to do to create an order, create a tab. So we're gonna like do that right now. And there you go. Like you've literally created a tab with this. Like right here is customer 1. It automatically names it for you. If I want to, I can tap in here. I can name this, you know, like say table 3, 4, save it. You know, I can easily add like, you know, just for the sake of adding a quick item, I can add something like that and it just automatically names it custom item 1. If I, you know, it's smart, it's really smart. So if you add something else, custom item 2, it'll increment the item names. You want to get rid of something, you can just swipe and get rid of it. If you swipe something and you make a mistake, you got a nice big fat undo button here. You can do that. You want to change the quantity of something. We don't bother wasting screen space with pluses and minuses and stuff. It's like you just go ahead and tap this little quantity thing. It'll increment it. Just tap and hold, and it'll reset it back to 1 in case you overshoot like what you were trying to do. If you want to do a catalog, just access your Poynt catalog of items. All that stuff's available in here. You got this all category. You can select stuff from here. You've got drinks. You can select stuff in here. You know, again, like baked goods, like let's add some stuff in here. And now we can just add these items. And you'll see like everything just gets added in, right? So it's like super simple. Anytime you need the catalog, boom, there's your catalog. You want to go back, you know, and just add something in manually. If you want to name your custom item something, you know, like maybe you have a special and something, it's like your pizza SP, whatever, you want to give it a name and give it a price, and it's just something you wanted to throw in there, you can do that, right? So you can easily create custom items in like 2 seconds, you know, in your hand. You want to like swipe back over to the screen. It's got really cool gesture stuff. So you're not always like trying to hit buttons and stuff. It's got a really slick interface. If you're like, let's do an example really quickly now of an authorization with a credit card, which is like a huge part of like what people really need access to. So if you want to do we have a really smart system for doing authorizations where essentially what it's doing is, I'll try to keep this guy over here in view so you can sort of see some of this. So the smart auth with $0 authorization for certain acquirers that allow it and $1 for others. What that means is right now, this is a $0 tab. This is just a new tab some customer walks in, right? So if I do an authorization on this, I hit the auth button, you're going to see it set to do $0, right? So I can dip my card in here, card inserted, authorizing, remove card, and card authorized. And basically at this point, you'll notice it's a smart UI. That auth button disappears because you don't have to do an auth anymore for this, right? The auth is already there. And you see it grab my name on the card. It grabbed the last 4 digits in the upper right. You'll see that like 8194. Those are the last 4 digits on the card. The type of card that was dipped is Visa. So all this stuff is like automatically done just from that dip. If I wanted to go in here and let's say I want to do an auth for a certain amount, let's say I want to do it for $100. I just add a $100 item and now I'm doing the auth, and you'll see like basically what's going on here is this is a demo account for us, and we're doing some testing and stuff with adding in also the tax and going above like a certain range so that you have some protection over what you're authorizing from a tab. So you'll see it like it has a higher amount basically based on that amount. If I was to dip this right now and do another authorization, it will basically do another authorization for this amount, right? So at this point, you've got these tabs. And again, like if there's ever a mistake or there's something you want to like delete or get rid of, you know, you can like from here also like delete entire tabs. You can undo a deleted tab if you wanted to. And so this is basically like the simplicity of being able to use, you know, and anytime you want to do your payment done, you can just hit pay, do your tip amount, dip your card in, card inserted, authorizing your card, sign off on it, remove the card, and right away you can select what kind of receipts you want to print. At any point you want to hit that print icon, you'll always see this option for kitchen, so you can just send the items to the kitchen quickly. You can print merchant and customer, print all receipts, or just a customer receipt, or just a merchant receipt. It's just really fast for getting the basic stuff done. And from here on out, you see that this is paid. It's in the upper right, you'll see instead of the last 4 digits, just says it's paid. Everything goes blue so that you can tell that this is basically a paid tab. So this is how you can kind of tell the difference between a paid and open one. So yeah, so basically this is, and up here in this upper right corner, you see these 3 bars. This is anytime your customers need support or training or any of this stuff, like what I just went through, which is like super simple to learn, but if they just feel uncomfortable, they want to like still go over things, you hit that button and you can pretty much just scroll through here and you can see like we made really awesome like built-in swipe animations that will just let you see like, okay, here's your first tab, you know, here are basically what all the parts are, here's, you know, what they mean, here's how they work, right? And you can scroll down, editing a tab's name, authorizing a credit card, right? So it'll literally walk you through this whole process. And what I'm going to do now is just quickly jump over. Oh, and actually, let me show you this really quickly too. You'll see that there's always a chat icon up here. You hit this, and you can chat to us pretty much 24/7 in real time to basically get support. Your customers can get support. So basically, what I want you to realize is, as a sales agent, you guys have this thing where you're already working your ass off doing stuff, right? So all these things that makes a customer not have to harass you after the fact, be like, hey, this isn't working. What do I do with this? How does this happen? You know, we can basically shoulder some of that. And your job is basically to just go out there and just sell. If you can set up the basic stuff, and you know, they might need something that's a higher end POS system, that's totally possible. But from our experience, like 90% of the people really want upgraded features of all the stuff that come with Poynt that they're basically offering out of the box, but they just want it to be really fast, really easy to use. So that's pretty much like the demo portion of this. And what I wanted to end with was, let me close this guy right here, and let's go back to this. I wanted to just end with this right here. So we made a URL for you guys to look on your smartphones. If you've got an iPhone, Android phone, whatever, just jot this down and just open this up on your phones And you can walk in anywhere and also show with just basic screen things, or have your customer just basically go in and visit this and see like how easy it is to use, and also feel some confidence in, you know, like, here's basically what I'm selling you and how it works. And any of the demos, we're going to keep adding more information to this. So there'll be demo videos, there'll be other things that make it, you know, more welcoming for them. We might work on ways that you can, you know, maybe insert in that URL, maybe demo / something, or demo and some like character where you can import maybe your name or phone number, so that always loads on that page, so it looks like it's more branded for you guys. But you know, for now, if I'm sure you guys are amazing salespeople. That's why you're here, and you can make this work. And this is like, I think something that's really easy for you guys to like start with, that already works off of everything. There's no delay for getting anything set up for your clients, for getting them using anything. And you can even do a little bit of legwork to just load in their catalog, and it's just done. It just works. Everything works. So with that, I'm pretty much done with everything, and I'll turn this back to Joey.
Thank you very much, Tiff. And then, guys, you see their contact information. They have really good information on their website on how to get going, and just good. There's a good video too. So if you want to show the merchant a preview, you know, great to work with. And obviously, you know, reach out if you have any questions, or if you need anything from us. We'll definitely help you get in the right hands and make sure that Tiff's team is working with you. I'm going to go back over to my screen. Give me 1 second. We're going to introduce now. We got and Tiff, thank you very much for joining today. Really do appreciate you showing us.
Oh, you're welcome, man.
I see your bar tabs.
Thank you so much. Yeah, all the best to all you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. We're going to transition over to Talik. Talik is one of the you know, primary POS applications on Poynt. So it's really built for sophisticated, better, you know, larger merchants, and it's really helping our resellers with competition like Toast, Lightspeed, Breadcrumb, you know, those sophisticated POS. You know, typically those larger merchants that process a lot need help, and they need to, you know, they need these types of features to sell to those type of merchants. And now that you guys are all Poynt resellers, you have access to sell Talik. So that's really exciting. I do have Blake on with me today. Blake, you there?
I am, yep.
Awesome, Blake. Thanks for joining us today. I'm going to actually pass over the presenter role to you right now, okay?
Awesome, thank you.
So Blake, feel free to introduce yourself, and yeah, hopefully I got a somewhat of an intro, but I know that you guys have you know, guys been very successful through the reseller channels. You're a very agnostic POS, which means that you guys will take on their process. You know, the reseller will own 100% of the processing, and then at the end we'll go over a few different ways that are easy to work with Talik, and other ways to have strategic relationships with them.
Absolutely. All right, thanks, Joey. Sorry, just adjusting my screens around here. So hello, everybody. My name is Blake. I'm with Talik Point of Sale Solutions. Just to give you guys a quick idea of, you know, what we are, we're a point of sale app that covers quite a few verticals, which we'll go over here in the doc. But we are not going to be kind of like a free option that you can easily set up a customer with. This is a full point of sale system that covers quite a few features. And of course, because of that, you know, we do have a price tag on our system. Now, I will say, just to start off, we are looking at a free version of our app. It's in testing right now. That could be rolled out here at a later time. And of course, when that does, you guys will be the first to know, because it will be through the Poynt device. Additionally, you know, one thing that gets brought up a lot, cash discounting. Do not have an option for that right now. We do have the ability to apply service charges in our apps. That being said, it's not tied to a payment choice. So you kind of have to toggle back and apply it when they choose to use a credit card, which is obviously not the best flow for cash discounting. So do not really have a cash discounting solution at this point. We are looking at possibly implementing in the future, but for right now, we just do not have that as an option. So I just want to bring that up as well. All right, so starting out here, kind of going through our slide. Big thing that we want you to show you is that it is easy to sell. You know, it's easy to position. We are going to obviously be doing the majority of the demoing, the majority of the selling in these scenarios. So that's really one thing that we want to get, you know, across, is that although we are an app that you could definitely learn about, you know, see the functionality on, we want you to allow our salespeople to demo this app out to customers, especially your more complex restaurant customers, retail customers, to make sure that the features are really going to fit what they're looking for. So just dropping down here, kind of some of the verticals that we cover. Our primary verticals are going to be cafes and QSRs, restaurants, bars, retail. You know, you were going through some of the stuff with the tabs that we were just looking at with Rocket Tab, and we can do tabs in a pre-auth option in our system as well. So we have that ability. Obviously, we can cover in for cafes, quick serve restaurants are a great business for us. We really fit nicely in there. And then we also have some secondary verticals as well, such as like yogurt shops, entertainment venues, pretty much anything that you have inventory management need, customer management need, and the ability to have a front end point of sale, we can be a fit for. We get put into a lot of verticals that traditionally would probably not look like at first glance something that we would be a part of. Yeah, we find out afterwards that we're a good fit. So just a couple of customer testimonials right here. We're going to get a version of this deck out to you guys, so you guys will be able to go through here on those. But just to give you guys an idea of a couple of these profiles here. Once again, you guys will be able to see these later. All right, so into our pricing. So first off, we have a premium package, a standard package, and a starter package. And once again, free is on the horizon, just not available quite yet. Premium is going to have the most features, and of course, we kind of skew that off between retail and between restaurant. We are also adding in services as an industry as well. And the premium in the service industry will actually have appointment scheduling tied to it. So we will be covering that. Services, of course, tying into nail salons, hair salons, anything with salon in it, or anything that basically you need to schedule an appointment for an employee to perform some kind of service, right? Our standard package is really going to fit those customers that are probably quick serve. Obviously there's not going to be like a table layout in a standard package, because obviously most quick serves don't need that. So we've kind of packaged our standard to fit into that QSR area. So that's really going to be the great fit for that. And then our starter package is there for small retailers, cafes. Great package to use for them. It's at a pretty low price point, for the market. So that's usually a good package to get into for that. And then just kind of break down a little bit about each one of these features here. You can kind of see these, but honestly speaking, this is a decent view, but I really like to jump to our online page for this portion, because in our online page, you can actually, as you can see here, products, you go to pricing. Not only will you get the pricing that I just went through, and remember when you're looking at this, it starts on the annual tab and it shows the annual tab as what the customer would pay monthly, although they are going to be paying annually for it. You have to toggle over to the monthly one here. It's essentially a 10% discount if you're doing it annually, and you do pay for that all up front. But as you scroll down here, you're going to be able to see compare plans in more detail. And from here, you're able to, kind of see a breakdown of what features are included in which package, which is a really good one to go through. And I will tell you this, if you have any questions on what one of these features are, maybe you're not sure what a dashboard means, or what the insights is, or what house accounts are, right? You could definitely reach us at, sales@talic.com. You can send that kind of question to our support. But honestly, if you're a customer, or your customer wants to know right away, or you just want to know right away, the fastest way to get answers for that is literally just hitting the support button right here. And if you hit the support button and type in what you're looking for, right? So let's just go back here. Let's go with bundles, right? If I want to learn about what bundles are, if you type in bundles in our support bar right here, you're going to get a lot of articles about our bundles, and you'll very quickly get a good idea of what our bundles are and kind of how they work. So that's something that you can use to just get an instant answer, before having to wait for anybody to give you an answer on there. Also, you can always call into our support staff. Our support staff is 24/7. They can provide answers on any questions you have as well. All right, so just jumping back into the plans here, just make sure if you're looking for retail, looking for restaurant, and once again, we'll have a services tab here as well. Going back into our PowerPoint, just jumping back into key verticals, our key features by verticals. And this slide right here, we've actually pretty much extrapolated out and put on our website as well. And I like the view on our website a little bit better because we can tie some videos to it. So on our website, once again, the Your Business tab, if you go to solutions down here, you can actually pick a different solution vertical here. So you can pick which vertical that you're looking for. And once you jump into one, you're going to be able to not only see a quick video showing you a little bit about the features, what the system looks like. This is a great tool for you to direct customers to if you just want to get them a little bit interested in the system, right? As you can see, they're literally going to see what it looks like. in the system as you kind of scroll along. It's going to see features, the view on there. But also, if you want to kind of break down and just view individual features, you can go down here, click on one of these, and you can actually see a breakdown of what these features look like, in screenshot format. And then, of course, we have a customer testimonial video on these as well. Now, right now, you're going to see, when you go to the solutions page, 2 restaurant ones. Once again, this one's just a placeholder right now for the for services. Services will be added in there soon. So that pretty much covers the big features around each vertical. And I would definitely suggest that using that as not only a quick learning tool, but also a great tool to send customers to, because it's something that you, especially if you're selling over the phone, possibly, something that you can kind of, mirror as you go to that website. You can direct them how to get to that website. You can make sure that they're seeing the same stuff that you're seeing. And it really helps you kind of talk up the tool a little bit, or at least, give them an idea of what our system can do. So let's jump into the hardware. This is where it gets a tiny bit tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to understand. We are, first off, hardware agnostic. We support multiple types of hardware, and there is a hardware list on our homepage, which I'll show you here in a second. But for the partnership that we have with Boomtown, obviously you guys are, you love the Poynt device. We encourage that. We're big fans of the Poynt device as well. But we have a couple of different ways to use the Poynt device, and it really depends on the customer's needs software-wise. We have certain things that are going to be available on some, and certain features that are just not going to, either not available yet on the Poynt device, or just have a different look to them. And of course, at the end of the day, the Poynt device is a 7-inch device, right, for the Poynt 6. And sometimes customers just want a bigger screen. It can be as simple as that. So the 2 methods that we support for the Poynt device, first off, is obviously running the full Talic app on the Poynt device. You can get the Talic app on there. It can be accessed to the Poynt App Store. You can jump in there. Obviously, if they want to have an account, or if you want to be able to receive referral credit for sending that account over, they're going to need to do the sign up through us. But once they get signed up, they get access to that. They can access it, and of course, they can run the full system from that Talic app on the Poynt device, right? You can run your full system from there. There are some features, obviously, that are going to look a little different because it's a 7-inch screen versus the iPad screen, which is a 9.7. You have a portrait view versus a landscape view. So we had to kind of move around a couple of things, but for the general consensus, everything pretty much looks the same. Same color scheme, same button placement, stuff like that. Just a tiny bit of changes across the board. The biggest one you're going to run into is going to be table layout. And to give you guys an idea, table layout in the iPad, and what you can see right now on my screen is an iOS simulator. Table layout in the iPad is going to look like this, where we actually have a breakdown of a table in this type of view, right? Where you can put tables in, you can put obstacles in, you can literally map out what your table or your entire restaurant looks like. That's what it's going to look like in iOS. In Poynt, due to the smaller screen size, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like a list, and it's going to show what's open, what's available, what's not available. And generally speaking, most customers have no issues with that. And of course, if you have a customer that's like, you know what, I would love the Poynt device for taking it to the table, pay a table, taking orders on it, but I still want that full layout, they can have an iPad running our app and a Poynt device running our app, right? Just because one is Android, one is iOS, doesn't mean that they can't communicate to each other. They communicate to the cloud and back, so you could start a transaction on one and you can finish it on the other. So if they have a host or a hostess up front and they need that table layout where they can see the tables on there, that's not an issue at all, right? We get them an iPad, they can use that up front. And then on the back end, of course, or towards the for their waiters and waitresses going to the tables, they can then use those Poynt devices for that purpose. So we have a lot of mix and matching in our system. The other way that we can use a Poynt device other than using the full Talic app on it is using an app called POS Bridge. So there's an app on the Poynt device that you guys may have used before, may have seen before, called POS Bridge. It's a free app to use. And essentially, it does exactly what it says. It bridges the Poynt device to an iPad or to a point of sale of some kind, in this case being the iPad. So what will happen is you'll go through your entire sale within Talic, right? You can start a ticket here. You'll go through your entire sale within the iOS, your iPad. You can grab a ticket, start it up, add items to it, right? Do whatever you need to do. Once you get to the pay screen, right? Once I get to the pay screen here and I hit start payment, right now it says manual card entry because I don't have a card reader connected. Once you hit start payment, that is going to activate the Poynt device to then take the card payment. So by using Talic on the iPad and using the Poynt device with the POS bridge, in a nutshell, you're kind of turning the Poynt device into a glorified pin pad. So, I mean, that being said, obviously we use both the Poynt 5 and the Poynt 6. Realistically here, as you can probably imagine, the Poynt 6 is a lot better for running the full Talic app on because you get that full 7-inch screen size, whereas the Poynt 5, probably a better fit for using it as a POS bridge, using it kind of like a glorified pin pad. However, both can be used for each purpose, right? If you want to run the full Talic app on the Poynt 5, you can. Now, just remember, Poynt 5 is about the size of an iPhone, so it's not exactly the largest screen in the world. So if you have a customer that's got large fingers, you might want to get them a stylus or something as well, because the app, you got to be kind of nimble with it, and just keep that in mind.
But good for Blake. I was gonna say good for line busting though, and good for order side tabling, or excuse me, table side ordering and table side payments. So that's one way that I would vision the Poynt 5 if you have like ELO stations or iPads in the back.
Yeah, absolutely. Jumping to the next slide here, of course, pricing is always something that you guys are going to be interested in. So this is pricing from our vendors here. Obviously, iPads are iPads. You can go get those anywhere. The stands here, right? It's just iPad stands. You can get them through us. They can get them from anywhere. Printers, right? We have a certain list of printers that we work with. Cash drawer, we have certain cash drawers that we work with, and all that is, as I said before, if you go to the Talic website, you can go there and you can view the hardware that we currently work with. Now, ideally, right? Ideally, we would like to position the hardware to the customer, especially in the demo, showing them what hardware, or at least telling them what hardware is going to be the best fit for them. That being said, we understand that a lot of the customers that are coming to us from you guys might already have a Poynt device, right? And if that's the case, there's no issues there. They can absolutely use the current Poynt device they have. We don't really make when it comes to Poynt, it doesn't really make a difference to us what processor they're using, right? Because we use Poynt's payment flow. So we're kind of processor agnostic when it comes to Poynt as well. It just doesn't really make a difference to us because we're using the Poynt payment flow. As long as that Poynt device can speak to a processor and process, it should have no problem running our app. In terms of the actual hardware, the rest of it, at the end of the day, it's much easier for us to sell the hardware to the customer, right? We have hardware vendors that we partner with. Our vendors obviously have options for purchasing and for leasing as well. So you get that ability. Can a customer go out and get this hardware elsewhere? They absolutely can, right? As long as they have a card reader that's certified and ready to use. The rest of the hardware is just typical hardware, right? But of course, if they do that, they need to make sure that the models match up, and we want to make 100% sure that happens, because if a customer gets the wrong hardware, then they're going to blame us, and of course, in that circumstance, we didn't really have any play in there, and that's the last thing we want, is a bad customer experience. So I would strongly suggest getting the hardware through us. It's faster, we can look over it then, but of course, at the end of the day, they could go get hardware elsewhere if they feel like they can get a better price on there. So I just got some prices on here for different situations. Obviously, everybody's situation is going to be unique. And since we do have so many pieces of hardware that we work with, I can't emphasize enough how important a demo is to make sure that you are getting the customer with an expert in our software, because our demoers know not only the software by heart, but they know what type of hardware the customer is going to need to accomplish what they're looking to in their business. So once again, even if you become an expert on the software, I would strongly suggest always getting a demo, placed and scheduled out, so to make sure that we get our experts on there to make sure we're getting all the customers' needs met, and making sure that we're setting them up with the right hardware and the right software choice. Speaking of how to get a demo set up, so we have a partner page, and let me pull that up really quick here. So our partner page right here, and Joey, I believe, has this linked to on his on the Poynt or on the Boomtown hub. Joey, what do you call it again? The Poynt hub, the Boomtown hub.
So we call it the Poynt Sales Hub, and then in the Poynt Sales Hub, guys, you just go to the Talc application. I have a list of all the applications. When you click on Talc, it's just going to take you right to this Sales Hub.
Yeah, and from here, there's obviously a ton of information on here that you can learn about our system. A great tool to use to learn about our system, even just our homepage and those pages I showed you before, additional great tools to learn about our system. But from here, you can actually schedule a demo or submit a lead. You know, ideally, the flow that we like to start with is that you would submit the lead here. So you identify the potential lead, you submit it in. At that point, our pre-sales call people will reach out to the customer and schedule a time that works best for them for a demo. That being said, if you just absolutely know the customer wants to get a demo going, you want to skip that step to make it just a little bit faster, you can go in and schedule a demo instead, and you can get a demo scheduled on the books. Ideally, we like to do the submit a lead first, because there's sometimes where people don't have a full understanding of what our system can do, and they schedule a demo and it turns out the customer needed something that was some massive point of sale system that needs a ton of features, and we're like, okay, we could have easily told the customer that we're not going to be a good fit for them in an initial call, and then customers get a little upset that they were scheduled down for a demo and that it wasn't a fit. So try to use the lead first, the lead portion first, until you get a good feel for the software, and then you can better identify out what customers are a good fit for our software as well. A couple of things here when scheduling a demo. As I go through here, you can pick, right? We have Spanish and we have English as well, and then we also have a consultation. So a consultation is essentially what we're, basically what we're going to be doing when we make that first call. So you can also schedule a consultation as well. But once you've done that, I just ask that when you schedule a demo, especially if they already have Poynt devices, please notate that in your notes. There's a section in here that you can put in notes. As you can see right here when I go to, there's a note section right here. Please, please, please put in there, not only if they have existing hardware, especially if it's a Poynt device, because that gives us a little bit better idea of what we're selling to. But additionally, if you have any notes whatsoever on features that they're looking for, or things that the system has to be able to accomplish, put those in, because if we can see those ahead of time, we might be able to save everyone's time by letting them know if we can or cannot do that. So that's a really big thing in there. So please be very generous with the notes. There's no such thing as too few notes in here, or too much notes, excuse me. And then from there, right, just fill out the rest of the information on here as well. All right, let's jump back into our doc here and talk about a referral partnership. So when it comes to reselling us, we're very particular when it comes to who has the ability to resell our software outright, as in reselling the software, selling the fee of the software, selling the hardware, handling the entire sale. If it gets to that point where you want to look at becoming a reseller, I will tell you this, that we do maintain a minimum. That minimum starts at 25 accounts, and it's expected to grow as you become a reseller. So it's not that it stays 25 accounts for the time being. So we're very aggressive with our reseller program. That being said, the referral program has a lot more lax restrictions on it. There are no minimums for the accounts per month. Leads are sent directly to our internal sales team. As a referrer, you get 10% of the monthly software fee. So if you sign up one customer for premium at $99, right, you're getting 10 bucks of that to you, and that's paid out in $100 increments. So you'll get that as well. And then of course, you're obviously getting the processing revenue, and you have a happy customer as well. For that purpose, we sell the software. We bill the customer for the software. We'll probably bill them for the hardware, unless for whatever compelling reason they want to get hardware elsewhere. But even if it gets to the point where you just are like, I'm selling the hardware, end of day, no discussions, please let our demo people tell you what hardware to get these customers. They've been doing this a long time. They will tell you the right hardware to get these customers. And then from there, if you need to, you can go out and get hardware for them. Ideally, of course, once again, they would use our hardware. They'd use our vendors for hardware. But if absolutely have to not, at least at a minimum, use our demoers' suggestions for hardware, because there are certain features that work specifically with hardware, and we just want to make sure the customer gets everything that they need. All right, that brings us lastly to kind of implementation here. So once a customer has been confirmed and signed up, their account gets set up, right? You guys are doing your underwriting. If they've already been underwritten on your side, this is a significantly faster process. You know, the hardware fulfillment gets handled, onboarding, gets the training set up, and of course gets the account made, and then we get into training and install, and then at that point the customer is going live. Typical speed for these is usually about a week in full to get going. However, of course, depending on what pieces they already have ahead of time, it could be faster, usually not longer than a week unless we run into some kind of an issue. Once again, we have the sales tool online where you can see that. I will say, apart from the sales tool here, we don't do just straight out demos for salespeople so that they can learn the software, primarily because that's more of a reseller flow and because of just resources in general. It takes a lot of resources to be able to because everybody then wants their rep to attend a demo and stuff. So we use these as kind of a main one, but I can at least give you obviously the sales information that we showed so far, the website. You have videos there. We have a Vimeo page and a YouTube page, very easy to get to. Just type in Talic in either one of those and you'll find us. Tons of videos there that show our softwares, specific features in our software. And then lastly, of course, if you have interest in the system, you want to play around with it yourself, shoot me an email after this call. My email is just Blake, BLAKE, @talic.com. And Joey can obviously make the introduction as well. But I will make you a demo account that you can use with your Poynt device and test out the software. The same demo account can be used on iOS as well. So that gives you the ability then to add your employees, and I can show you how to add employees in there as well. So all your employees can have access to it too, and they can really play around with the software, you know, even to the point where you can bring it on site to a customer and show them a little bit about the software as well. So that's something, just shoot me an email. Once again, it's Blake, BLAKE, @talic.com. All right, I pretty much covers everything, Joey.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. That's awesome.
Let me just really quick here. Let me just quick here on support. 4 support offices. We are 24/7 support. Palo Alto, Scottsdale, Arizona, Ireland, and Belize as well, and just some of the numbers on our support staff.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
No, absolutely, man. That was great. I'll send out this version to everybody too. That was on the email list. So again, for who's on right now, if your team missed it, we'll make sure that you have this recording. You'll also have this deck. Blake, I know you're going to send me this deck, so I'll put that in the follow-up email as well. I think it's a great sales deck just to use for internal reasons and also customized for external. But really, yeah, I really appreciate all your help today. Let me put my information again for everybody else on the screen. Give me 1 second, everybody. Put this on to preview. No, I want to do. Give me 1 second. Let me. Sorry, guys. I don't know where my screen just went. There we go. Okay. My screen. I'm going to put basically our contact information on here. Again, pointsales.boomtown.com. Definitely reach out if you guys have any questions. We're very happy to help out, and we will be speaking with you all soon. Again, you'll get an email by the end of the week with all this information. But thank you all for joining this afternoon. Appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.